What up? And welcome back to the Boston Commune. This week's Incredulous installment will feature commentary from Comrade Scott, Joe, Kit, Ellie, fellow DSAer, formerly known as Cheese Boy, and myself. Joe keeps an eye on the Biden cabinet, now rapidly taking the form of a junk drawer. I try not to go full tanky. Ellie catapults us over a locked gate. Scott tells us which Steve McQueen he was actually tweeting about, and Rahm Emanuel gets shofarred in the face. Please do us a favor and share this content. Do yourself a favor and enjoy your epoch.
Should we check in on how Dave's doing in the cave?
He's trying to expand Craig into also doing video recording.
What?
That's spooky.
That would be kind of interesting.
That was your cue to do the...
Yeah, I was trying to set that up.
Maybe Scott's trying to do too many things at once.
I thought I was supposed to be the oblivious one.
Dave. You mean Dave's trying to do too many things at once?
Yeah, Dave's got too much going on in there. He's got too many bats trying to get his attention. I actually was watching...
It's too funny for me to actually do Dave in the cave now.
Joe, I was watching Mandalorian with Josh, and I was thinking, it was the episode where Baby Yoda, eats the spider. And
that genocidal maniac, Baby Yoda?
Yeah. And I was just Baby Yoda has Joe energy.
What define Joe energy?
He's always eating stuff that causes Mandalorian to have to escape for his life somehow.
I support Baby Yoda's genocidal hunger.
As do I.
I don't get how that applies to me, because...
He's an agent of chaos. I don't know.
Joe, we're saying you're an agent of chaos.
That's
I know what you're saying.
It's a great show. It's a great show.
Okay.
You love it.
Interesting.
I love it. I love it even though I was deeply disturbed by that little Baby Yoda eating all those eggs. Oh, I'm there's a southern drawl to this all of a sudden that was not there before.
Does your larynx need to be checked for randomly sliding into different accents?
You spent so much time sequestered away in that cave that you've lost your Canadian accent. You're just becoming cornbread.
Wait a minute. Am I actually a Canadian? I don't know this.
Yes, he's Canadian.
Yeah, you once.
You're Canadian.
You were once Canadian.
They're sending their worst.
Yep.
They're sending their worst.
Murderers, rapists,
worst.
and Dave Rubin.
Ted Cruz, and Jordan Peterson.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz is not Canadian.
Jordan Peterson.
How did Ted
Cruz? How did he run for president? He was born in Canada. What are you talking about, Joe?
He must have dual citizenship.
Ted Cruz got around it by being well, my mom is an American-born citizen, therefore it's okay, and everyone just kind of went with it. Not that it really mattered, seeing as he got crushed anyways. So that's kind of a moot point.
The problem is that the statement is natural-born citizen, which is a little bit hard to define. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean born in the US as much as born being a US citizen. And no one's ever really brought that to court. For this, military territories wouldn't really count towards the actual setup here. It would be considered America for
Cruz's argument was that his mom's American. So
you were right. He was born in Calgary.
Yeah.
What if you were cultured in a test tube?
That's fucking insane. Also,
then you're way cool.
Who's the guy who orchestrated the Iraq War? I can't remember his name right now. From Canada. David Frum. There we go. I was conflating him with Bill Kristol, which I think Kristol might also be from Canada. But my whole point is that they're sending their worst. The Canadians.
Yeah,
they've been sending their worst the entire time. Not Mexico. Mexico sends their best. Joe, you want to go down some headlines right now?
I mean, if Mexico could send us their president, that would be nice.
AMLO.
If we asked Mr. Biden to... First of all, who is the president of Mexico right now? What was his name?
AMLO.
There's Manuel
Lopez Obrador. Yes. He is a good. But I think if we tried to do that, it wouldn't just be Joe Biden, but the powers that be that would say...
Will you shut up, man?
Wait. Before we get into anything, we got to introduce our new homie.
Indeed.
Is that me?
Yes, that would be
you.
Yeah, okay. I was
I was wondering, has it started? Are we in the podcast?
We are in the pod. We are in.
Wow.
We're in the time that we are recording, so it might be in the podcast. It might not.
I'm honored to be in the podcast. Should I give my real name? I don't know what you guys talk about, so I don't know if I want to attach myself to anything in any way. I'll go with my Discord name. I'm Cheeseboy23, or just Cheeseboy.
We got Cheeseboy here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be
You're
here.
the cheesiest boy, folks.
It's an honor to have
Hello,
cheese.
cheese boy.
I'm assuming Jesse's references is good ideas in relation to the fact that I am the noted agent of chaos here.
You're the dragon in the room.
What?
Which is in spite of the fact that I have been doxxed on this podcast several occasions.
I've probably given my address at some point. Like, I've talked so much about where I live.
No, actually, you have come to think of it.
Yeah.
Did we not clip that out though?
I don't remember.
Fuck it. I just assume that
I've
nobody,
given my address on the show before.
except for Maxine Waters, like, we don't really have, it's not like we have a giant audience,
Yeah.
you know.
I keep forgetting to tweet her every day.
Do it.
God damn it, dude.
All right. I'm so happy that at least we pulled some sort of a bit from that episode that actually works. Joe, what do you know?
I know many things.
Let me know them.
So, as I was saying earlier, everything seems to kind of going to shit when it comes to who the president picks to run the government. Because, like, let's be real, the cabinet level secretaries and the agency heads, they're like the people who are actually running the day-to-day operations of the company of the country. Like, the U.S. is a company in the sense that, like, the president is the CEO.
It was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, it really is. Because, let's be real, this country is a company town. But I digress. Like, the U.S. government, it's kind of like a company. The president is the CEO. He's, like, at the top of the food chain. But he's not, like, actually doing the day-to-day work or, like, administering the company. But, like, the people are actually, like, running the shit. Or the people in the cabinet. And it's been pretty dog shit so far, the people he's picked. You get, like, Anthony Blinken as Secretary of State. He's been floating around like shit lib circles since he was part of Bill Clinton's White House staff. And he's pretty dog shit on like foreign policy, which is not great for Secretary of State, seeing as he said this week that he does not believe the administration will tie aid funding to Israel to its treatment of the Palestinians. Kind of a problem. And this problem because essentially what that means is the U.S. under the new administration will let Israel basically do whatever the fuck it wants, despite the crimes against humanity that might happen along the way, for example. Not great.
Nope. Not good.
Yeah, on his recently, you know, because I talk about the Matt Crispin streams a lot. On his most recent, that was my vape. Sorry, it makes noise. On his most recent stream, he was talking about how like America is one of the only countries where like our head of state, it's not just like a title; it actually has like some power, you know. And what we've seen in the last few years with like George W. Bush and then Obama and then into Trump is that like the president is now just becoming like a head of state. He's just like a figurehead position now. And what really matters is who's behind the scenes, who's in the cabinet. So whatever the Biden cabinet will be, that is the future of this country for the next 4 years. It's not going to be whatever Joe Biden says in public.
I don't think Joe Biden's actually said anything definitive in public one way or the other anyways.
To the extent Biden can remember what decade it is.
That this is true, but at the same time, like Biden never said student debt, never said cancel student debt. Like everybody else around Biden said cancel student debt. What Biden said was something very, very specific about student debt. And everybody took it as this message about like, we're going to cancel it all. And it's like, that's not what he said.
Yeah, what he said was incredibly appalling and incredibly incrementalist and incredibly neoliberal and means tested. It was like $10,000 and then we will forgive, which is a very important substantive distinction between forgiving and debt cancellation, which I talked about before. And we will forgive and we will have everybody like continue to make payments of no greater than 5% of your disposable income. 5% is still a lot. You'll like continue to make payments for the next 20 years and like whatever like you haven't paid off after 20 years, I guess then we'll cancel it. Like that's what he actually said.
The thing about like the student debt, the Democrats, like progressive Democrats who were like all of a sudden talking about this out of nowhere, they're trying to govern the way Trump governs, which is by just tweeting something, being like, we cancel student debt, folks. And then just seeing what happens. Like, there's no actual ground game behind it. No one really plans it out. They're just saying it. They're like, well, let's fucking see if this works. And, then finally, 3 days later, you get Biden being like, oh, we'll cancel $10,000 or whatever. And then nothing ever happens.
Yeah,
he's going to cancel $10,000 on his platform.
It's like a teaser for the policy. And then if people like it, if people complain about it, then they just don't do it.
That's actually a beautiful way of putting it. It's market testing. And they're doing it on the back of like people who actually do it legitimately and have some, and beyond the criticisms towards AOC, like AOC like does that all the time. She'll say something in a tweet that's kind of incendiary, but then she'll actually try to like introduce the policy and see like, testing the waters. And it's partially how she got so popular with everyone online, is that she does shit like that.
The way Jesse described it, like, oh, we're gonna put it out there, put a feeler, and then like go from there, determining on like how it turned out. That's actually kind of how the Russian government functions in terms of its policy agenda. Like in like 2018 or 2019, Putin put out that like they were gonna reform the welfare system, like raise the retirement age, and everybody got pissed off. They're like, on second thought, maybe we're not gonna do that after all.
I gotta say, Putin's pretty funny sometimes.
He is. Also, the way that he like triggers the libs, that's enough entertainment value right there.
His commitment to his personal brand is very, I want to say, impressive. Mostly it's hilarious. I love when he's just like, I will ride horse with no shirt on to indicate that Russia is a strong nation.
I will flex peck.
I will get in submarine.
To show strength.
Also to show off like remarkable musculature.
Yeah, we better see a Joe Biden, Vlad Putin push-up contest. I'm hoping we see some Biden nip.
Oh, yeah.
But like Biden will get like confused as to where he is and like kind of shuffle off, because he did that at a Democratic primary debate back in September, and he like started wandering off the stage during the debate. And they had to like push him back towards the podium.
Now I'm remembering.
You can't do push-ups. Doing them like a girl. Rap rock a bomber.
I'm remembering.
I got hair and legs, Jack.
Those fake Ed Markey.
I love kids jumping in the lap.
That we made up. Like where like Biden and Ed Markey were like the best of buddies, except then it just got like super homoerotic, and there was like they were throwing footballs. This never happened. We were talking about it.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's correct. I do remember this now. I gotta find that in the Slack. I'm gonna do.
I think I actually have. I think I took screenshots of those.
This is wonderful.
I'll share them. Hold on.
I could do like a read through of the voiceover with like inspirational sounding music in the background,
or erotic 70s music.
Going back to like really shitty cabinet picks, the DHS secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, they're talking about how he's so great. He's a diverse pick because he's the first immigrant. He's like a white Cuban whose family fled from Cuba shortly after the revolution because they were super wealthy. And also, he was the director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services during Obama's second term. And he was literally overseeing like the Kids in Cages program when it first started. But like, great. Kids are going to continue to be thrown in cages and they're going to be deported. But if it's someone who looks like him, the libs just won't care at all. I think that's the mindset like the Biden administration is going for.
It doesn't count as being racist that way. That's why. Duh.
Hey, an immigrant is deporting us. Isn't it great?
Joe, what role is Rahm Emanuel going to get? What was the news on that?
I honestly think that's a red herring because that's what it smacks of to me. That is like, I think that trying to get the left distracted because like he is objectionably like scum of the earth. Like he is going, if there is a hell, he's going straight to it and will be keeping Margaret Thatcher company for the rest of eternity. But like, I think he's being used as a distraction.
I disagree. I think they are trying to set the goalposts as far to the fucking right as possible so that like anything is better than Rahm Emanuel.
I think they're trying to get like the left distracted by that while they try to ram in some really, really terrible people, but they will seem less terrible relative to Rahm Emanuel.
That's fair.
Like, oh, we're gonna make the head of the National Economic Council a BlackRock executive, or oh, we're gonna make like an oil lobbyist the head of like the EPA, which was done in the last administration, or oh, we're gonna have like some McKinsey dipshit run the VA, and I'm referring to a specific dipshit, or we're gonna have like another charter school person run the education department, like they did under Obama. Like, but hey, it's not Rahm Emanuel, and hey, it's a huge win for the left that like they didn't pick Alan Greenspan for like Larry Summers to be the Treasury Secretary, which drives me insane that like everyone's celebrating that Yellen was picked as the Treasury Secretary when they're like, oh, so great. So the bar is that like anybody who isn't literally like Larry Summers, the butcher of Russia, or Alan Greenspan being picked as Treasury Secretary or chair of the Fed, that's supposed to be the big victory that we're all celebrating about. That's how low the bar is now. Like, this is where we are.
Yes.
Yay!
It doesn't feel, honestly, to me like a huge disappointment because I have not had any expectations since Bernie dropped out in April. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this is how it was going to be.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
also
just
where I
leaning
am.
really hard
Realistic.
into like anarchism at this point.
Joe, thank you for talking for as long as you did, because it gave me the perfect amount of time to make this. Because when I think of Rahm Emanuel, I think of the shofar.
Why?
Topics left.
That was like an extremely long drop.
It's a really good long show.
That was. But yeah, I have two
Well,
other
There's a
Emanuel.
famous picture of someone blowing a shofar in Rahm Emanuel's face.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
That motherfucker, he must be so fucking sad, like so pissed that all these other Democratic shitty mayors got away with like these very open public police murders. And he tried to cover his up, and that's the reputation that follows him. That's the cloud. All these other Democratic mayors have had these very just gruesome deaths, the police murdering people on camera, and they've just gotten away with it electorally unscathed.
I think the reason why it went so badly for him is because it was like drawn out. Like they were like, no, we're not going to release the body cam footage until like court forced them to. Whereas like it's different from like when it's like someone took a video and put it on Instagram of like someone being murdered, as opposed to like, oh, we're like actively trying to fight like a court order to release the video of this dude being murked.
Yeah, but like all the other cases where this happens, it's just like it's public almost immediately, and the Democratic mayor is like, oh, I'm doing all I can, but
yeah, that's my point. Like,
yeah,
it's a little bit different because, like, I think Jacob Frey's the mayor of Minneapolis. I'm probably getting his name wrong, but like,
Yeah.
oh, it was like he's a moron. That's not the point. But it's like Frey didn't have to look like he was like actively opposing. He was like, well, it's already on the internet. It's out. It is what it is. We're dealing with it, I guess. Whereas like Rahm Emanuel was like, no, fuck all of you. We don't want to do this.
I mean, it was bound to happen.
He fucked around and he found out.
Again!
He fucketh around.
You find this out.
He findeth out.
Slightly more promising news. I know this for a fact because it's been my job for the last couple of weeks dealing with this, but the first round of Pfizer vaccines are going to go out in the middle of next month. And it was just in the New York Times today that Pfizer is going to be shipping out about 6.4 million doses of their COVID-19 vaccine around the middle of next month. I've been seeing a shit ton of UPS trucks coming in and out, a lot of cargo trucks coming in and out. It's also been in the press releases that FedEx and UPS are going to be largely delivering it. Also, like the share price for UPS has been in the ceiling the last couple of weeks. So taken individually, it doesn't seem like that interesting, but like taken together in the context of all these other things, this actually could be happening, unlike previous cases where Johnson & Johnson is like, oh, like we have a vaccine, but then like our trial patients are getting sick. This might actually be a thing. Also, the thing that gives me great joy about this is that I saw a press release in one of the financial newspapers put out this article about it today, and it was like Amazon and Walmart are actually going to be negatively impacted by this because UPS and FedEx are prioritizing distributing the vaccine over Amazon and Walmart packages. So it's going to bite those two companies in the ass, and anything that like harms Amazon or Walmart to any degree is like amusing for me. They're obviously like evil companies who like either should be nationalized or just like it would probably be more convenient if they just didn't exist. But that's not realistic.
Amazon should be nationalized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, they should be.
Their delivery apparatus is incredibly impressive and could be used for so many better things than sending people plastic bullshit.
Actually, Amazon's delivery infrastructure isn't really that impressive as someone who actually worked for UPS.
It was great, personally. It was great for me until like the last couple of weeks. And I'm not sure why, but everything fucking fell apart. Like I had one package never show up and another one was marked as delivered delivered, and it was never delivered. So
I mean, I'm not speaking positively to the conditions of like the workers, but I'm just saying.
No, I know. No, I'm just saying as someone who's actually worked in that. Like, I've been around like the.
Tell us from experience, Joe.
I am basically
Amazon.
Joe's been around.
I am like third generation UPS, basically.
He's seen some shit.
Honestly, like Amazon, like for example, they only like deliver Prime packages, and most of their shit still goes through like UPS and the post office. But like, it's not the delivery; it's the fact that Amazon has its finger in like so many other industries.
So many assholes.
Yes.
Yup.
Yeah.
Sidebar: Amazon.
Get your fingers out of my ass wallet.
Amazon delivery is great if you don't live in a low socioeconomic area such as Roxbury.
Correct.
It's like great if you're rich, and as is everything, Andrew.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you don't have like a collective mail room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Walmart, there was a really great TikTok by some guy who was like, how to get anything at Walmart for 24 cents. And he just like taped like the barcode from some extremely cheap item to his finger. It was like passing it over the thingy.
Yeah.
Man,
the reason why, like, most likely the reason why, like, it's fallen apart in the last couple of weeks, A, where, like, the beginning of peak season has begun for the logistic companies, but also, B, likely because of the fact that, like, as I mentioned, UPS and FedEx are going to be prioritizing the vaccine over their shit. So now, all of the shit that normally they would just pass off to the post office, UPS and FedEx, they actually have to do themselves now, and it's probably, like, causing everything to go to shit.
Sucks for the workers, yeah.
You are completely right, because most of my packages hitherto had been delivered by USPS, and the last time I seen a dude drop off a package, it was like ABC Delivery Company. Like, they're just contracting whoever the fuck they can get now.
That sounds like a front for organized crime.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazon still doesn't really have the infrastructure to even be, like, remotely competitive to any of the other major three distributors. So, like, the fact that, like, two of the three major distributors are saying, like, no, we aren't interested in dealing with your packages because we have more important shit to do. It's like, well, fuck, how are we going to get all these packages out?
I will note that my last packages were delivered by what looked like a lamp truck, which was kind of hilarious because it was not a lamp and I was waiting for a lamp.
That's pretty dope.
I remember because I was actually delivering for UPS that peak, but the first peak that Amazon actually started delivering packages, the delivery drivers for Amazon, they were driving around in unmarked white vans, and the delivery drivers weren't wearing any kind of uniform, so it just looked like. So it was the funniest fucking thing. Is like, has anybody like ever seen Silence of the Lambs? It's like that, but in broad daylight.
When I saw that ABC van, my first thought was just like, they just like leased whatever van they could find. I didn't even associate it with Amazon until like as I saw the guy driving away, I got the alert that the package was delivered.
They were completely unmarked with the exception of like the Amazon arrow, but it wasn't really that visible.
Isn't it a smile, not an arrow?
Oh, who the fuck cares?
I'm just fucking with you. And I was going to say Ted Bundy when you said that thing, so you beat me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Moving on to, like, the last topic of discussion, because I find it, like, amusing and also somewhat interesting, and I finally found a context to talk about it in, is that Dianne Feinstein has finally announced yesterday that she will not be seeking the top Democratic Party position on the Senate Judiciary Committee. This is interesting because, like, when you look at the structure of the Congressional Republican Party in terms of, like, the way the leadership positions are structured, the Republican Party is actually somewhat more egalitarian than the Democratic Party is. It's more democratic, to put it out of the way, because, like, with the exception of the, like, Republican floor leader in both the House and the Senate, all of the leadership positions are term limited at, like, 3 terms. So, like, at max, so, like, the Senate Republican whip, that position is, like, termed at, like, 3 terms. So, like, you can be the Senate Republican whip for, like, 6 years, and then you're termed out, and it's, like, someone else can run for it. And the same thing goes for, like, committee chair, like, the top spots for the party in the committees, like, top Republican on, like, X committee, like, also, like, there's a 3-term limit to prevent exactly what ends up happening in the Democratic Party, which is you've got the geriatric troika, as it were, in the House, where Hoyer, Pelosi, and Clyburn, who are all in their 80s, have had an iron grip on the top 3 spots in leadership in the Democratic Party for the better part of the last 15 years. In fact, actually, Pelosi's been the House Democratic leader since 2003. And there are no term limits. Actually, who gets to be the top spot on committees for the Democrats is actually determined by seniority. There's no term limits. There's no actual like rational way of like determining who will be like the top Democrat on House of Ways and Means, for example. It's just who has the most seniority on the committee. And you end up with ancient fossils who can't remember where they are and are mentally confused because they're clearly in a state of cognitive decline due to the fact that clearly they are too old to be in government, i.e. Dianne Feinstein, who's currently 87 years old.
Don't ever use the word smart with me.
Interesting dynamic that like the Republican Party, yes, their structure is more egalitarian, but that is no reflection on like the ends that they are seeking to achieve.
When you started talking about the degree of democracy, I immediately thought of the Democracy Index because I was listening to Citations Needed podcast episode today, and that index was actually developed by an intelligence agency, and at the time of the release of that episode, I guess America was rated as a 10. America has since dropped to a 7. So like even by fucking CIA standards, we're not doing so great.
Can you name any other democracies that are at a 7 for context?
Look, I don't care what you guys say. It's still a 10 in my heart.
Slovenia.
So like a 10 is a 10 like the most democratic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's
no, Joe, it's the least democratic.
I didn't hear it. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being...
What the Republicans think Venezuela is?
Let me check, actually. I'll check Venezuela.
It looks like Norway is winning right now.
I knew it. Fucking knew it.
Venezuela's actually a 2, Joe. It's a 2, for reference.
Can we like real quick check where Cuba and like Vietnam are? Because I'm curious. Asking for a friend here.
And then couple those numbers with their COVID deaths.
Oh, God.
Cuba is a 2.
Despite the fact that they have a vastly superior healthcare system and actually a better life expectancy the United States does.
Yeah, Cuba is a 2 and Vietnam is a 3.
Wow. So the actually functioning societies are somehow vastly undemocratic. Yet we have like what? Like
Joe, we're a functioning society for the people making the money.
Well, that's like 0.1% of the population.
But that's all they care about.
We're tied with Botswana and Estonia. And
Estonia and Botswana.
Yep, Greece, Lithuania, Latvia.
Okay, Greece makes more sense because of
garbage is that?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, Greece makes more sense after how badly they were done dirty by the Germans 10
Where's
years ago.
Canada?
Canada's at a 9.
Canada's such a joke of a country.
They're doing okay. Ireland is at a 9.
Ireland. As much as I love Ireland.
We love Ireland.
As much as I love Ireland, how the fuck is that even possible?
It's very small.
They also don't have universal health care.
Is that democracy?
So democracy is like, we get to live and die by the free market. Also, Ireland is literally...
because you choose to die. You're choosing poverty.
Let me get this clear. So Ireland, which is the number 1 tax haven in all of Europe, is a highly functioning democracy. It is Europe's equivalent to Delaware in terms of it being a tax haven. Because Delaware, fun fact, is actually the number 1 tax haven on the planet. It's not Luxembourg or the Cayman Islands.
Than the Cayman Islands. Wow.
Yes, it's actually Delaware. Fun fact.
All right then.
You can read about this in The Guardian. It came out around the time of the Panama Papers.
The credit state and the insurance state known as Delaware.
I've also been to Delaware, and it is exactly as depressing as it sounds based off of the fact that they are a tax haven. It is
the only good thing...
There's really nothing in Delaware, is there?
No, not really. It's
credit
very
card companies.
We're New Jersey, you know.
New Jersey is a depressing place to be anyways.
The only great thing that I know about Delaware is that if you go to a page on their website that is like a 404 error, like it's not there, it says Delaware.
You know what's insane about Delaware is that they allowed Beau Biden to continue to be the state's attorney general even while he was serving in the Marine Corps in Iraq. He was still somehow the state attorney general.
It's like how Pete Buttigieg was still mayor when he was overseas.
I think he was elected mayor at the time.
No, he was. He was mayor while he was doing his CIA stuff.
They're multi-talented men, Joe. It's okay to be in awe.
He knows 9 languages, dude.
I actually loved when they actually CNN, I think it was Jake Tapper, asked him at a town hall to speak Norwegian, and then there was someone in the crowd who knew Norwegian, and he was like, so say something in Norwegian, and like the woman who like actually knew Norwegian is like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't sound like Norwegian.
Is he doing like the Swedish Chef version of Norwegian?
As you know, this is Swedish.
Angry Swedish people have written to Jim Henson and been like, we are offended by the Swedish Chef. And he wrote back to them and was like, please excuse the Swedish Chef. His Swedish is not very good.
You know, it also doesn't exist in the first state, any sense of, like, democracy. Outside of, like, what United Healthcare determines, it is your value in terms of, like, how much are you willing to pay in order to not die?
Recently, there was a odd programming error at the place that I used to work, and it showed that the cost for the medicine insurance was like $999 trillion or something, like just the biggest number possible, which was kind of hilarious because, like, hey, there's something that even Bezos can't afford.
We got him, folks.
Also, I'm looking at the Delaware thing, and it is so much funnier seeing it. Like, it's one of those things that, like, it's a lot funnier and it makes a lot more sense, like, seeing it than, like, it would be possible to explain it.
Right, which is why we're going to cut that out of the podcast. Sorry, that...
That's just cool.
We got the joke.
It wasn't... Alright, well, I get...
We could just make it the episode thumbnail.
If it's nice, if it would be nicer for it to have been a joke, then sure, that was a joke. Ha ha ha. Hee-hoo. I'm just kidding, Joe.
We love you, Joe.
Joe Fourth.
Okay then.
Joe.
I think Joe might be. Oh shit! What's a good one for
Joe'd out?
like when he's done? Joe'd out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe'd out. Yeah.
Jesse, do you want to go into
a verb?
Joe? You've been a verb since the first episode. When I said Joe off, it's the Joe off.
No,
I
just kind of forgot. I just kind of went with it, but I forgot when exactly this happened.
You're always a verb.
This is good to know.
You've always been a verb in my heart.
This is great podcast. Jesse, do you want to go into your little disagreements?
At least I'll always have that.
With Miss Const, or how would you like to approach this?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, Joe, we love you though. You're a vital member of the team. But then when you interrupt me, I don't know if I feel that way. I'm just kidding.
So I didn't mean for this to become like a big thing. It was just, I was listening to today's Majority Report, the member version of it, because as I've said before, I paid for a year in advance and I'm taking advantage of that subscription. So it was like she came face to face with the sort of
unbending logic of reality.
No, it's just like, I just got the sense that she'd definitely been drinking like her own Kool-Aid for a long time, or at least she had gotten so absorbed in this election cycle that like she truly believed that there would be some kind of left-wing challenge to the Joe Biden like bipartisan establishment, like banker, war hawk, shitlib ideology in the cabinet.
I have a question.
Yes, what?
So you think she's like Cenk Uygur who actually like believes his own bullshit, or do you think this is more like her pushing a grift? Like this is her like she's like doing her grift and she kind of just got lost in it.
I just basically what I heard was like she realized today that everything that she had been saying was just her own version of the Democratic Party, like her own progressive projection of her values onto the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And she was getting upset with the fact that there has been no challenge from union leaders or from she couldn't even specify who she was expecting to lead this movement. And Sam was
did with Obama for the past 10 years. Like, we will project everything onto him.
The thing about it that I guess broke my brain was like, she expects that...
Oh yeah, you should just give a little context.
Oh, she's Nomiki Konst. She did like a
Which I just want to say, Joe, I don't think that she's a grifter. I do agree a little bit more with like a lot of like where a lot of people are projecting their values into like whatever the figurehead of what is supposed to be their politics. And like in this case, you want to believe that the left and the Democrats can in sometime, unite and work together. And so like she's just choosing Biden to be the figurehead of what she hopes to be, like can carry like left politics into fruition.
The way that it unfolded in the guest spot was she started by saying this was literally our argument. We said, if you vote for Joe Biden, you will be able to pressure him from the left. And like her grievance was that people weren't doing that, which to me is like fucking obviously, you know what I mean? Like, why would you expect it to go any differently? Like, why would you expect that there would be like Democratic Party operatives that were actually trying to push the party to the left? In what universe was that going to be the mechanism by which progressive politics are achieved? Like, that's
when you put it like that, it doesn't sound like a grift so much as it sounds like she's like actively like living through Einstein's like law of insanity, which is like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen.
Well, what it sounded to me like, it was like she came to that realization on the episode, and she's frustrated because her assessment isn't fleshing out the way that she expects and wants it to, because that's been her message, is if we can get a Democrat in office, the progressive wing of the party will be able to force the rest of the party into the left wing of the party. That's not how political power works, especially in this fucking duopoly. The challenge needs to be a mass workers movement. You can't do it from the Democratic Party.
And again, like, I don't think
she's a lot of people who are left massive, like, think that there needs to be a gigantic left massive movement and have not, like, organized themselves into the left. They have not joined a socialist org. They have not, like, tried to do anything with a group rather than just kind of vaguely hoping that it happens or yelling at the void in Twitter.
Exactly. Yeah. And like because she's basically saying, I'm not going to do this. For all I know, they could be having talks behind the scenes. They could be making deals behind the curtain that I'm not aware of. So like, I'm not going to cast blame anywhere. But if I was going to, like, I would blame the union leaders and I would blame the NGOs. And it's like, so you want us to do what you tell us to do, and then you want to assume none of the responsibility for it not panning out. This is why leftists are so skeptical of the Democratic Party, because if we vote in line with this bullshit messaging, it doesn't matter how hard we push, we're not going to get what we ask for. Like, what the left has been doing for months is literally fucking fighting cops in the streets because they're fucking killing black people. Like, I get so mad about it because nobody in the party gives a fuck about that. None of them give a shit. They don't give a shit about the people. They don't give a shit about literal death. They don't care if we die of this fucking pandemic, as long as they can retain power, not even in the government as a whole, but within their own party. Chuck Schumer ain't going anywhere. Nancy Pelosi ain't fucking going anywhere. And I am honestly surprised that Dianne Feinstein is in any way stepping down or
Chuck might be, because Chuck is up for re-election next cycle, and the left in New York has actually gained quite a bit of a foothold in New York politics since the last time he was up for election.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying it's a lot more possible than it would have been 6 years ago, which is why Chuck Schumer, I genuinely think, like, when he talks about, like he was talking last month about how, like, the Biden administration is going to be, like, the most progressive since FDR. I think he either A, genuinely believes it, or B, he desperately wants the sounds escaping from his face to be true, because his political career might be on the line if nothing happens. But that's still a might.
And that still sounds very much in line with, like, what, like the shit-lib people would say.
It's all a fucking game to them. It's literally a game. It doesn't matter what happens to the people that they ostensibly represent. They don't fucking care if people live or die.
Yeah, they can just, like, throw on some kente cloth and kneel and have a photo op.
Yes! That was...
I saw the photo of Steny Hoyer. I was like, who's going to help Steny Hoyer get up? He's like 81.
He didn't actually kneel.
Oh, right, he didn't.
No. There. People have combed that video, and Steny does not kneel.
All right. Actually, no, I was thinking of Pelosi, because Pelosi, like, was kneeling, and she's, like, also 80.
I think you made that joke the first time we talked about this, but let's bring it back.
It's still stuck in my brain. It's like
evergreen.
It's so funny that it's still, like, burned into my brain enough that I can remember
the incredibly racist things that our Senate leaders did. Yeah. It's a terrible thing.
Actually, while we're speaking of that, I would like to point out that like burning down a police precinct polled better than Joe Biden did.
True.
I'm sorry, like when I don't write this shit out, I get very emotional about it, and I think that's why it helps for me
You're
to
doing
do
fine.
Your anger,
analysis.
you focus.
No, because like it
was a film reference.
I just start swearing at people, and it's like what I'm trying to get across is like when you get into party politics that deeply, you're not talking about policy as it affects the public. Like you're talking about the politics of politics. Like it's so far removed from the consequences that politics will have on working class people.
Well, when there's no like material consequences involved, this is kind of what happens. Also, I was making a Star Wars reference. I was paraphrasing.
God damn it, Joe.
But like
I was about to make a Star Wars reference.
But this is kind of what ends up happening. Like politics is a game to people when there's no material consequences involved with the outcome. It's just
sort of sounds like a movie I watched this week called Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace.
I was actually thinking about that.
All right, can we get back? I just want to. I need to
me and Scott will stop nerding out now. I promise.
I just need to express that like this isn't gonna fucking change. This cannot change unless capitalism changes. Money is so closely tied to politics and power. There is no chance of utilizing the Democratic Party you can't. I can't even fucking. I'm like so mad. I can't even fucking talk. I'm just not gonna say anything.
You're absolutely right. Like all these, I think Obama's memoirs and everything that's coming out of them kind of instructive here. I'm paid by Obama to promote his books. That's why I'm saying this. But he the way he writes about his rise to power is like he's trying to get to the rudder of this ship. This ship is the American body politic or whatever in his mind, so that he can control it in the little ways that you can when you have institutional power. Because it's not much. All of these leaders at the top are hemmed in by all these huge institutional forces that really control what's going on. But our goal as socialists is to move the sea underneath that boat. Like that's what we have to do. We have to go to the people, go to the masses and organize the people who have checked out of this, who aren't on the boat at all. And that's how, that's the only way we have forward, I feel like.
Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Counterpower, mutual aid, all that shit.
I will say that I don't think Obama was actually trying to steer the boat at all, because he said in an interview last year that he feels misunderstood because he perceived himself to be governing as a conservative. Also, in the memoir, he mentions in a 768-page book, I just still can't get over this. In a 768-page book, the word drone only appears 11 times, and only 6 of those occasions were actually direct references to the drone war.
These statements that we're talking about, though, there's been interviews with him since the release of the book, and his comments about his presidency are so far removed from humanity that it's unfucking believable.
He's also, writing his own history.
His idea
of talking about the drone war is
fucking damn it, Joe. God damn it. You had a segment, Joe.
I know. I'm still annoyed by this because, I will never get over the drone program. That's one of the things. It's like that and healthcare, the two things.
I am
yes.
I feel your rage. Believe me. But Obama he's perfectly representative of the body politic. For him, it's literally just a job. It's literally just a job. If we don't have working class representatives that are actually writing legislation in such a way that they are connected to it, as in they will see and feel every consequence of that legislation. As in, have you guys seen remember Men in Black at the end of the film when they zoomed out and it was just aliens playing with marbles?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what politics
Great
is
movie.
to them. Obama is living in a fucking mansion in Martha's Vineyard right now, and he doesn't have to answer for a single war crime. He doesn't have to fucking answer to a single black person that was fucking gunned down in the streets.
He's not the best person to argue, but he should be accountable to the black community. Given in 2010, he was asked what he thinks is the root cause of racial strife in America, and he said, and I quote, "Black men are bad fathers." fathers. They are bad role models for their children, and that is why racism is a problem.
The liberal idea of politics is not to change the way that society functions. It's literally just a belief in the institution. It's not to change how things work for other people. It's almost like, I mean, it's as close to as it could possibly get to like a fucking sports match. Like, you have people on both sides, and there are like heroes in the form of like, you have like an Obama, or you have like what Buttigieg was supposed to be, like the Obama guy. I guess after Beto O'Rourke's like his whole shtick just kind of fell flat, like he was supposed to be like the person who embodied Obama going forward. There is nothing left in politics for the people. And I understand completely why the biggest voting bloc in the country is the non-voting bloc. Aside from the fact that there are like serious obstacles just to getting to the booth and fucking being able to cast a ballot, it just boggles the mind that, fuck it. I can't even. Every time I do this, every time I jump into a fucking segment without writing something out first, like I just end up getting so fucking pissed off about it. And I'm sorry.
You did well.
Yeah, that was actually like very pretty well put together. So don't worry about it.
I'll make it sound good in post.
Hell yeah, that's your talent. Joe, I just want to say you don't have to share your opinion on everything. And that's the most diplomatic way I'll put it.
I love
that's
you, Joe.
very nice of you.
I do love you. I love you a lot.
Very nice of you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Joe.
Tell me that's the epoch way. You just
Joe.
gotta be next to each other and then
fuck.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I love you.
Everybody see that thing
Coach.
in his, I don't know if it was in an interview or in his actual, in the memoir. What the fuck is happening? In the actual memoir where Obama said that his ideal examples of like masculinity were Gary Cooper, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, and Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, just like
And when you actually look at all
reactionary
this-
old white guys.
Yeah, incredibly reactionary white dudes, which is so weird that those are the examples that he chose.
The dude
Also,
clearly
like-
has daddy issues. He was abandoned or whatever by his dad, who's black. So, wind up bringing up, I'm sure he hasn't even worked through this shit all the way because he's bringing it into his memoir.
Yeah, he's only
talking
written written like 7 books about it. He's working through it.
So, Scott, are you saying that on the inside, Obama perceives himself to be a really, really old white man?
Well, a conservative white man, yes.
His values are very closely aligned to, your average old white man.
I wanted someone to say that out loud.
I thought he was talking about like he was confused as to why Republicans, conservatives would like someone like Donald Trump when Donald Trump is nothing like the stoic, stay kind of, cowboy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that was the context of what he was talking about. That, like, he was comparing Trump to these masculine figures. But no, I think there is something that, like, he said in an interview like years ago where like I'm considered an extreme leftist, but if you actually looked at my policy, people would consider me, or if people were honest about my policy, they would consider me like a moderate Republican, is what he said.
God.
He said it himself.
Love a good cell phone.
We are like so fucked. There's not even a word for it.
Super fucked.
Loud, prolonged screaming
Ultra
into
fuck.
void. That's
Again, counterpower, mutual aid. Do not trust the institution. Trust those around you.
It's a stinky poop.
That is one big pile of shit.
our society is a big flaming dumpster fire full of
wet ass P word.
shitty diapers.
Join the DSA. Join the or some other institution. Not, some
Ben
other
Shapiro.
organization.
If you didn't know,
The institutions we want to overthrow.
It's just insane, like reading, like for those who don't know, I've been releasing extra Patreon content where I read, like both Ellie and I actually have been reading like revolutionary letters, and in Ellie's case, they are literally called Revolutionary Letter. But like I read like a Che Guevara essay that he wrote in talking about basically the conditions on the ground that like empowered the guerrilla armies to overthrow like the American incursion in Cuba. And like, it's real shit. Like, it's real, like, dirty fucking... He was in the shit, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have any politicians like that. We have none.
we all kind of in the shits right now?
No, but I mean, like, I haven't heard anything from an American politician that sounded representative of, like, working class struggle ever.
I'm making a joke because I thought it was opportune.
Have you listened to Jeevan?
Jeevan?
Jeevan Sabrina Wheeler.
Jeevan Sabrina Wheeler.
No.
I did quite a bit of canvassing for him. He is the DSA member who successfully ran for Cambridge City Council last year.
And he's awesome, and he will speak at DSA events and has some actual things to say about immigration and all of the other, like, many other issues that normally I just poke him for immigration things.
Ellie?
Yeah.
Do you have something that can't be made up?
I do.
I did just come up with a joke for, like, Ellie's verbal.
Oh my god.
Institutions. Join the institutions and then stand by and stand back.
Yeah, it sounds alright.
Stand by and
What?
stand back.
No, do not join the institutions and then compromise or let people walk all over you. That just gets in the way. Please stop that, everyone.
Are we an
Preface it
institution?
by saying it's a joke.
Is DSA an institution?
How do I feel about a joke?
I don't know, but if we are, we're a dysfunctional one.
No
Yeah.
step on snack.
No step on.
What's that on Nick?
If we're an institution, we are like the People's Front of Judea, or whatever the Monty Python reference was.
What is Aleppo?
I gotta rewatch that. Anyway, yeah, I have some stuff. Just a couple things this week. Just some light filler here.
It's what we actually fucking need right now.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of this. Like the tank in my heart has gone beyond, like, it's not cute anymore. It's not like one of the Cars cartoons.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm armed. I'm armed right now.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Yeah, well, hopefully this will chill it back out. Yeah, so an elementary school in France put up a pair of posters outside their fence with an unusual request for parents: don't throw late students over the closed gate. There is a picture that I think
Is there a accompanying photo of this?
Yes, there is. I am copying it into the chat as we speak. Basically, this was based on just a couple of isolated incidents, apparently, but it was enough for them to realize, hey, we should probably do something about this. The Triade School in Avignon was having this issue where a couple of times, I guess they locked their gate. They lock their gate when, I don't know at what point they lock it, but the principal, Sana Metziane, told La Provence, which is a news source, that some parents literally threw their children over the gate when they arrived to find it closed. And apparently no one was injured, but the school decided that this needed a no step on neck kind of needed a sign. So the text on the side...
Is Kamala Harris their AG or something?
I know, right?
Hey!
Yes!
Got her.
Whoa!
The text on the sign asked parents not to throw their children and instead wait for the gates to be opened again at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. So yeah, don't throw your children in France. Don't throw your children anywhere.
So you know it's a happy school that you want to be at.
Yeah.
Flung over the gates.
You in.
For real.
All unintended children will be flung over the gate.
I have one more, which is not quite as weird, but I felt like I couldn't pass it up. And I especially was thinking of you, Scott, when I saw this. There is a website called reviews.org, which is offering $2,500 to someone who wants to watch 25 holiday films in 25 days and complete a questionnaire about each film and select which one is the best. At first I thought it was going to be like, can you bear to watch 25 like shitty, what is it, the Hallmark Channel kind of like holiday things, but it's not apparently. Apparently the person will be required to watch 25 pre-selected holiday classics, including Elf, It's a Wonderful Life, Polar Express, which I know you just watched not that long ago, Scott, and Home Alone.
Terrifying movie.
But anyone could do this.
Nightmare of a film.
Yeah, I bet you could just like, if you wanted to do it, you could just be like, I just watched that, so I'll just
but then they'd like, still force me to watch it again, and they'd probably have to make me like watch also like the Zemeckis fucking Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
and I'll probably have to be subjected to A Christmas Story again, which like is a movie I'm totally over.
Yeah,
I just imagine like a time lapse of Scott like sitting on the couch and his beard getting longer and longer, and the circles under his eyes getting like darker and darker.
And his is like he runs out of weed like very, very quickly.
It's got like gradually going more and more like visibly like descending into madness.
Clothes just pile up around him.
No, I'm imagining like Christmas decorations just start to like get hung up around me inexplicably.
They just
all the food starts decaying and shit.
Roommates start like putting like Christmas wreaths around Scott, like because he hasn't moved from the couch.
Yeah, put a star on his head. The official title for this person will be the Chief Holiday Cheermeister, and they will receive. They will receive $2,500 and year-long subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Apple TV Plus. And if you want to do this, I guess just go to reviews.org.
You haven't been paying attention to the literature.
Applications are being accepted through December 4th. Yay!
Yeah, I don't.
I'm sure you're not going to do that.
That would cause me so much anxiety.
Right.
To have to stay on a schedule of watching all these movies that I'd rather not want to watch. It's hard enough to stay on the schedule of watching the movies I want to watch.
Yeah, I don't want to jump into that, but do you have any? Do you feel like telling us what to watch this week, Scott?
Comrade Scott tells you what to watch.
What to watch? Well, someone said Men in Black, so Men in Black for one. You said Men in Black.
All three of them?
No, the other two suck. Just the first one.
That came out like a couple years ago.
The third one? Okay, it's slightly better than 2, but it still sucks. 2 and 3 suck. 1 is the only good one. I mean, 3 has some, like, Will Smith is really good in 3, and, like, he's funnier in that one than he was in. It's just, it's not as good. Why are you making me do this?
This was the era when every movie that had Will Smith in it had to have a Will Smith song over the end credits.
Hell yeah.
Right,
Men in Black was the best one.
Anyways, the other movie... Nice, it was a pretty good song. It's ripped off of a different song from the 70s, like all his other songs.
All of his songs are, yeah.
It's great.
The other movie I'm recommending is Steve McQueen's, the British director, not the actor who's dead. His Mangrove. It's the first movie in the Small Acts anthology that is about black struggle in Britain. It's a very good movie. It's also the perfect antidote to the trial of the Chicago 7, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, and is a piece of shit movie. So watch Mangrove and watch Men in Black and just, love Will Smith.
I literally thought that you were talking, like, when you were putting up all your Steve McQueen reviews on Instagram. I really thought you meant the actor, because I didn't know there was
no actor. Pretty sure he was a shitbag Republican, but he was in the original Blob, and that's a masterpiece. And watch the original Blob. No, fuck that. Watch the 80s Blob. It's a good movie. It's good. It takes the original movie's themes of the fear of communism and puts them into the fear of the government and the reactionary religious right. It's a very prescient movie. It's good.
The original one has a better
gory as fuck.
No, the other Steve McQueen just like reanimated from the dead, just like Hugo Chavez did.
And he started directing movies about African liberation for some reason. All right, clearly no one's seen. Steve McQueen directed 12 Years a Slave for context.
Oh, he did.
So the actor definitely would have gone nowhere near that movie. So
can I play like 20 seconds of the original Blob theme song?
Yes.
Got some
play it.
Got some saxophone there. 1958, y'all.
You don't have to touch to talk. It's too quiet.
Yeah, I can't really hear it.
You know what I'll do? Send it. Is there like a short, is there like a short enough clip that you can send it to me and I can just pretend?
Yeah, I can make that happen.
We can just all right.
Yeah.
Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor right through the door.
Do you have any TV shows to recommend? Because I'm more of a TV person and I'm kind of bored.
TV's for fucking losers. I'm kidding.
Good to know. Good to know.
Watch The Mandalorian. Watch The Mandalorian. Watch Baby Yoda kill eggs. Just wantonly destroy species with his insatiable and adorable hunger.
I mean, he eats everything.
I love it. I know, I love it. Or watch The Queen's Gambit. It's on the Netflix.
I also just finished The Legend of Korra after watching Avatar, both for the first time. Pretty good.
I should probably eventually get to that.
On Netflix. Got to do it. Got it. Some fantasy world to escape to, away from this horrifying one.
Cheese Boy said so, and thus it is so.
What is this?
I don't know.
It's the Blob theme.
Huh? Yeah, the Blob. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, 1958.
Beware the blob, it creeps.
It's incredible.
How do I end this?
I would have loved it if this song was actually about like the American foreign policy state, which is also sometimes referred to as the Blob.
The blob. The swamp. Beware of the blob. Are we there? Are we set? Are we good? It's getting late. It's almost 11.
I did just want to briefly touch on the fucking terrible CNN business article that I stumbled on, to be as brief as possible.
Was this one about Obama?
The other one.
Yeah.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time.
So, the richest woman in Brazil, Luiza Trajano. Basically, the article is just arguing that, like, if billionaires hired black people, that would solve racism. So
That's a weird thesis.
It's basically Hillary Clinton's thesis in 2016. Kind of.
Kind of.
Because she was like, well, breaking up the banks won't solve racism. It's not quite the same thing, but it's similar enough that my brain made the mental association.
She did also have some very good, like, in-depth analysis on redlining and how some of the other economic structures were working against communities that were not predominantly white.
yeah, this woman, Luiza Trajano, basically the policy of the company, which is a magazine called Luiza, because that's not vain at all. She's made it her goal to hire black people with MBAs, which is clearly representative of the average population.
Clearly.
So yeah, if you hire a bunch of people with really expensive college degrees, then you can fight racism.
Perpetuate intergenerational wealth.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, folks.
Don't raise the money. I got the money. Okay,
We love it, folks.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that drives me insane about, like, everyone, like, this is predominantly boomers who talk about it. I mean, they're evil, but that's not really what I want to talk about. It's like how everyone talks about, like, the great transfer of wealth when the boomers, like, die and they're like, beneficiaries, like, inherit whatever the fuck they leave behind. It's like, great. So how does that solve, like, wealth inequality? Because, like, yes, boomers are going to be transferring wealth to, like, their relatives. So this is really just, like intra-family transfer of wealth. It doesn't actually do anything useful to society. You're just, wealthy boomers are handing off their money to their grandchildren. That doesn't really solve the problem. Because transfer of wealth is usually talked about as like, oh, we're going to transfer wealth from the billionaires to the proletariat. I keep talking about this parlance. It just drives me insane.
This article is actually really, like, the more I read it, the more fucking galaxy brained it gets. Because the author, who just so happens to be a former Mike Bloomberg advisor.
Hell yeah. They're sending their best.
He claims that CEOs should start by stripping down America's foundational myth of meritocracy. Like, yeah, bro. Fucking exactly. I don't get how you...
Wait, a person who worked for Bloomberg was actually capable of having that thought.
Yeah, his critique is that of the wealthiest CEOs, only 1% of them are black.
To make more sense now in terms of, like, the galaxy brained.
He's got those moves like Bloomberg.
Is this before or after the NDAs?
The MBAs?
NDAs, non-disclosure acts, from all the
that
women
was
that
a
you
reference to a joke that someone made in the middle of the campaign in the primary, where because they were making fun of the Buttigieg dance, you know, the High Hopes thing. And so they invented a dance for Bloomberg, and the song they wrote was called Moves Like Bloomberg. It's fine. It's fine if you don't remember. It was only just this year.
Oh
it's okay.
I'm gonna look this up.
Scott, this year has been like 3 lifetimes.
I know. And you're still on the hunt for the old adrenochrome that you can get, so you're still on your murderous campaign to take out as many old people as you can. I know. Joe, you've been distracted this year. It's okay. But Moves Like Bloomberg was a 2020 phenomenon.
I gotta also quote this short paragraph. Perhaps it will be someone like Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who is widely seen as one of the most progressive CEOs on the topic of diversity and inclusion. Or perhaps it could be Amazon's Jeff Bezos, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon, or Zoom's Eric Yuan. There is no shortage of candidates with the political muscle and dogged perseverance necessary to pull off what Trajano is doing down in Brazil.
By political muscle, we mean lots and lots of money.
I like how that list just progressively got worse.
Zoom has this CEO, and they want to take credit for that. Like, it's one of the worst pieces of software I've ever used, and all of a sudden millions of people had to use it and suffer this year. They're bragging about that.
Skype was there all the time.
Hey, it's like Walmart being like, well, we pay our workers nothing, but we're proud of that. It's kind of like that.
Joe, I have to say something. Don't
Yes.
pursue a career in comedy. It's okay though.
Oh,
Trying to be comedic.
We still love you though.
yeah.
That wasn't an attempt at comedy. That was just
Don't quit your day jobs. One of the meanest things.
Joe.
He doesn't
I'm
have
kidding.
a
I
day
love
job,
you.
so he's good.
It's true. He has a night job.
I don't have a job.
actually technically
No.
it's kind of a hybrid now because I've kind of picked up that like no sleep on Sunday thing. It's becoming a regular thing for a while.
No.
Sleep.
Sleep on Sundays.
Tuesday.
I'm happy everyone picked up on that immediately.
I am signing off. I am tired. Sorry. Yeah, I'm Kit. You cannot find me on the internet because I am scared of it. But you're all cool.
Have a good night, Kit. Thank you.
It's nice to hear after someone just told me I'm like really terrible at comedy. It's
Oh,
always
Joe,
nice to
come
hear.
on.
It's a joke.
I was making a joke over.
This is what the funny men do. They rib each other. They rib each other with the they poke
I
fun.
turned it.
They rib each other.
Make fun of each other.
I thought I could turn that into a joke.
Yeah. Well, my name's
you're not
Scott.
You're not making a very good case for yourself right now, Joe. Just throwing that out there.
Hey, my
as a
impulse
comedian.
Who's like Bloomberg? There we go.
Control is a lot worse when I'm asleep.
We got video fucking evidence. I don't make these things up.
This is the stupidest parody dance ever. It's like
That's the point.
level 0 choreography, and the best part is that they clearly just took the song Moves Like Jagger, and then when it gets to the chorus, they're like, I got the
Bloomberg.
moves like Bloomberg.
And a bunch of Brooklyn journalists thought it was real. Anyways, Twitter was fun in the past. It's not so fun anymore. But you can find me on Twitter at DeathMullet and on Instagram at DeathMullet. That is not my sign off because I got more things to say later. Joe, go.
I'm here. I'm Joe, and due to my sense of impulse control is a lot worse when I am very sleep deprived, as I am now, which explains why I'm constantly interrupting people. I am too exhausted to try to remember what my Twitter handle is. Not that really anybody
At
cares.
JLFB96.
Joe, you showed growth there. You admitted that you interrupted.
Of course I admitted that.
Proud of you,
I
bro.
do that constantly. I am capable of admitting my faults and then making fun of myself for them. But that's not really the point. Who else wants to go?
I'm here. I'm Ellie. Get used to it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Already did.
Go, Jesse.
Yeah. Oh, you go.
Cheese boy. One of you guys go.
Well, I feel like the guest goes last, right? So I'll wait.
No, Scott usually goes last.
Predetermined order.
Yeah, Justin and I both have spiels, so.
Gotcha. All right, I'll go. Cheese boy. I guess follow me on Twitter. I should have just gone with this from the beginning, but at Symmetry Hater _ between those.
That's a hell of a name.
_ Thank you. Yeah, no, I do some good posts sometimes. Give me a follow.
Brave soldier in the posting war.
Will do.
Reporting for duty.
I'm Jesse. You can find my music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/contingentsboston. And you can find more well-scripted content from me on the Patreon, which Scott will get into. And you can also, if you are a good little noodle, go to comrade-rosie.org, click Getting Involved, and select one or more mutual aid groups to donate either time or money to, if not both.
That I'll get into. What?
What the fuck did you just say?
I'm kidding. He
Buddy,
means
where
go
you
to our
going?
Patreon.
There you
Motherfucking
go.
patreon.com/epic-incredulity. We're going to start to record. We already have things up there. We have lovely Jesse and lovely Ellie reading revolutionary texts that you all should listen to. We've been hammering out our schedule so we can hopefully record some short little things for that endeavor. $3 a month.
Directly
Gets me the
argue.
accents. Yeah, Joe's going to argue with me and interrupt me as usual. Like right now.
You're welcome.
We love them. We love them so much. It's $3 just to get that. But if you do $5, we might send you some stickers, some beautiful paraphernalia. If you live hopefully in the Massachusetts area. You know, whatever.
It's a pan of analia.
Pan of analia.
You put it in
Anyways, you can follow us on Twitter at Epic Incredulity. We are on Instagram at Epic Incredulity. We're on Facebook. We are on YouTube. But more importantly, as was said, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/Epic Incredulity. Please give us some money. We're poor and we would love money.
Me especially.
We are the impoverished proletariat.
Oh, we love you guys.
I'm okay. I'm doing okay right now. I'm all right. I'm okay.
As always,
Super
you can get involved at comrade-rosie.org, or you can just, help your local mutual aid to do. That's how you get involved. Help unionize your local workforce. Something like that. That's what we need to be doing. Shut up, motherfucker. That's what we need to be doing.
The donations to us are not tax deductible.
Exactly. And that is your epoch for the week. I don't know what the fuck I did.
Did you do, Scott?
Got him laughing.
You'll hear in post. It just sounded really funny.
Whatever works. Just full send.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It's has anyone said this before? It's been an epic time.
Oh shit! That was clever.
Got to mention this earlier, but I got like a sticker in the mail from Michelle Wu. It's the funniest fucking thing. Her campaign committee is called the Wu Committee.
Why? Don't try a career in comedy, Joe.
It's amusing.
What is funny about that?
It just, again, this is probably the result of not sleeping for like 3 days, but like, it just sounds kind of funny.
That's her name, dude.
Like, people just shout.
I mean,
out of context. Because it just made me think. I forget who said it, but it made me think of like a bunch of people just shouting "woo."
Yep.
That's why it's funny to me.
I'm laughing so hard that you know what, it was worth it.